Alright. Well, now it's time for one of my favorite video games. So, with this relay, the baton pass to the next run happens, when See You Next mission plays up on the screen, so I don't know quite how long we're still waiting for. I don't really know Metroid Fusion that well, which is why I wasn't commentating it. First, some rules stuff. In regards to passwords, the Zero Suit Samus code of 2020 is explicitly allowed for speedruns. It's just a sprite swap. Any other code is not. This is NES Metroid 100% Deathless, so as I recall, any missed item is going to incur a 2-minute penalty, and any death is going to incur a 3-minute penalty. The only way that you might want to be on the lookout for, or the only time you might want to really be on the lookout for a scary death would be with Norfair Rap, coming up later in the run, but in the meantime, we're just waiting for them to get started. Alright, looks like Dragondarch should be going off in just a second here. Hopefully my restream isn't behind, but let's get going once I give it one more confirm check to make sure that we're up to date with what y'all are seeing. So, this is NES Metroid 100% Deathless. Our first runner is Dragondarch. Dragondarch is the old boy of NES Metroid 100%. This is the guy who routed this category, and this is the guy who brought it down to the 44-minute time that it rested at until very, very recently. So you should expect to see a lot of really consistent play from Dragondarch. Also, probably a lot of very interesting and different strats than you might see from our newer runners, Aurorax and Caesar. So the first thing that's happening here, while I was talking, we've already seen our first enemy by manipulating the patterns of previous enemies in those sprite slots, so you can manipulate the direction of movement in which they spawn, and you can manipulate what enemies spawn, because if you keep a certain enemy in a sprite slot on screen longer, then the next enemy in that sprite slot might not be there. So you're going to see that on runner number 2, Aurorax's screen, in just 2 screens in game. Right now, Dragondarch is heading toward our first missile pack. This is the way that almost every single NES Metroid run starts, unless you're doing a Kraid first route. This is a Ridley first route, though, so we're heading this away. So let's talk about everything that we're going to need to get in this category, because this is 100%. While there may not be quite as many items in this game as in other Metroid games, that might also not be true. This is the only Metroid game I really play, but gosh, I do love this game. In this game, we are going to be picking up 21 missile tanks, 8 E-tanks, and a bunch of upgrades. The Ice Beam, the Wave Beam, the other Ice Beam, the Long Beam, the High Jump, the Screw Attack, and the Bombs, I believe? Although we'll keep track of things as we go along. One thing to note with this game, the way this game is built, it basically just reuses the same screens over and over again, so there's honestly quite a few things that blend together. In regards to the Deathless category, the reason Deathless is a thing is because in this game, if you plug a second controller into the NES, you can press up plus A on the second controller while paused to death warp back to basically the spawn point for the area. 100% with deaths is a separate category. Ideally, we won't see these runners dying at all anywhere. So Dragondarch is still very much plenty in the lead. I believe now we're going to be doing our first screen wrap. So in this game, with the Morph Ball, every time you morph and unmorph, you rise half a tile. If you do so in a wall, and you can get in a wall by basically letting a door close on yourself, you can just go up through the screen repeatedly. Just as you saw Dragondarch just do, you can use this to wrap the screen to go under screens you basically can't get through to the bottom of, just like you saw Dragondarch do. Now Dragondarch is going to be picking up the Ice Beam. That is very loud. Hopefully that isn't bleeding back into my mic. Because I am not wearing headphones, because it's personal reasons. Cool, so Dragondarch has now picked up Ice Beam 1 of 2. There's 2 Ice Beams, you need to pick up both of them. Not getting the best luck from the flies. So now Dragondarch is going to start heading up towards the bomb. Something to note, Dragondarch doesn't have any missiles. And we're going to need 5 missiles. Real quick here, here's a nice little frame-perfect jump if Dragondarch can get it. Looks like he did not, and didn't quite get the damage boost. If you jump 4 times in a row just like this, you can time the damage boost out just like that. In this game, if you jump exactly 9 frames after unmorphing, you get an extended height jump, which Dragondarch was trying to get there. Maybe we'll see Caesar and Aurorax get it. There's E-Tank number 1 from Dragondarch, 1 out of 8. And now we are heading up towards the bombs. So Dragondarch has 2 missiles out of 5. We are going to need 5 missiles to get the bombs. Now, again, missiles come in packs of 2 in this game, so you get basically 1 free missile shot. So Dragondarch just used it in hopes of getting a missile, just killing an enemy faster. Unfortunately, no dice. This game can be, unfortunately, quite cruel with missile luck. The randomizer in this game is actually pretty interesting. For every enemy except for Metroids, what you essentially get is a bag randomizer. If you're familiar with, say, Tetris, Dragondarch's struggling to grab a pack of missiles there, but Dragondarch is in go mode to get these bombs now, to borrow some randomizer terminology for you speed gaming fans. That is, every time you enter a room, the game decides how many health drops there will be and how many missile drops there will be, and randomly divides them up among the enemies. Once you run out of drops per room, you're not going to get any more and you have to leave and re-enter. Luckily, Dragondarch didn't have almost any trouble getting the missiles that he needed. And before our next missile door, we'll be picking up another missile pack. So, Dragondarch has the bombs now. Now we can do stuff with bombs, including bomb jumping and just, like, regular bombing, because they're the bombs. This is a way to enter Upper Brinstar early. Dragondarch is using a different method of this than you might see the other runners do. There's a lot of different ways you can set it up, but dang, that was very, very clean. So now we're in Upper Brinstar. We're going to be picking up another missile pack here and an E-Tank here, and then go get Various Suit. We're actually going to be picking up Various Suit before the game intends you to, using more wraps. Looks like Aurorax is struggling a little bit with his missile luck. I think he might have accidentally used a missile, which is real unfortunate. And I believe Caesar just picked up the Ice Beam, and Aurorax is good, getting his way into the bombs. Dragondarch just pick up missile pack number 2 out of 21. Chat, feel free to keep count with me, because it's frankly really easy to lose track in this game. Alright, so here comes our next wrap on Dragondarch's screen. What's going to happen here is Dragondarch is going to get above the screen. Looks like Dragondarch is doing this from the left side, which is the method I'm less familiar with. You will likely see Aurorax and Caesar do this from the right side instead of the left, but in any case, Dragondarch is going to wrap his way up to the door, to Various Suit, and then open and enter it from off-screen. Aurorax doing a successful entry to Upper Brinstar. Very, very clean. That trick is hard, frankly. Uh-oh. Looks like Dragondarch, messed up the wrap while I was looking at Aurorax's screen, and had to head back. That's really unfortunate. So, looks like that is going to put Aurorax in the lead, as Dragondarch is going to make his way back up to Upper Brinstar. He'll be able to get there a little bit faster this time around, because he can come in from the other side, thankfully, and go straight to Various Suit, but that is really unfortunate. The nature of Metroid 1 is that the time losses are real big, unfortunately. So Aurorax is entering Various Suit wrap now. He's going to be doing it from the right side. He's going to wrap up very carefully, not moving too far left, too far right. Jump over some invisible stuff in out of bounds land, then jump up to the door, open it up, and easy like that. Meanwhile, Caesar just picked up the bombs. Our boy Caesar, the savior the Metroid community needs. So I gave a little bit of context on who Dragondarch is earlier. I guess I can do that for the other two runners. Aurorax is one of the established top Hundo runners. Hasn't been around as long as Dragondarch. I personally know Aurorax for doing some absurdly difficult strats. That's kind of what I think of when I think of him. Caesar is one of the newer runners of this game, has a penchant for picking up pretty much every category in this game. He and I have more or less a rivalry going in pretty much every category that the two of us play. But Caesar is an arsenal of strats, so I have a feeling Caesar is going to be quite resourceful in this race in case something goes wrong. Back to Aurorax's screen, you'll notice Aurorax is jumping after placing bombs. In this game, after you place bombs, if you jump like that, the bomb explodes faster. Don't ask me why, not a clue. But anyways, Aurorax has the Varia suit. Dragondarch isn't too far behind. I suspect that he'll be more or less lined up with Caesar when we get out of this. But in any case, Aurorax in the lead is leaving Upper Brinstar. It is now... We've cleared out Upper Brinstar, that's it. The game wanted you to come back there later to get Varia, but we're not taking no for an answer on that one. Some very nice Morph Ball movement from Aurorax, and we are heading down to Norfair. So Dragondarch is doing the bomb jump method. Which, as it sounds, it's a bomb jump. Not quite. Bomb jumping in this game is rather difficult. You can't do the same kind of tap rhythm that you can do in the GBA, Metroids, and in Super. You really just have to... I'll be honest, I could not explain bomb jumping if I tried. But he got it. He managed to get the high jump off of the Unmorph and got on up there. And look at this. Caesar and Dragondarch are neck and neck. There's definitely a gulch here between Aurorax and Dragondarch, but nothing that can't be made up. So Dragondarch, excuse me, Aurorax now in Norfair. It's gonna head to the left. First task is to go pick up missiles 3 and 4. Once again, chat, please keep count with me. It's important. And there you go. That's missile 3. Using a missile there to open one of those bomb blocks early. Missile conservation is going to be quite important in the early part of this run. Basically, up until we enter Ridley's lair, we're rather limited on missiles, but missiles are a valuable resource for making movement happen quickly. Aurorax is now heading around the other direction, one sort of row of rooms below, to go pick up Missile 4. This is my least favorite missile in the game. I'm just gonna be honest, because of these enemies here, who cause a ton of lag and get in your way, but Aurorax got a really good pattern from them, which is nice. So these runners have Varia Suit and 2 E-Tanks already, but they're not out of the woods. They have a long way to go before E-Tank 3, but focus is somewhere else now. What you're about to watch Aurorax do is Norfair wrap. He's going to very precisely wrap up to the edge of the screen, roll off into the screen below, and then blind jump up to blocks by the door, open the door, head on through. That's the hardest wrap in the entire game, so you should be impressed, to say the least. And then he's going to head back through and go on down this way. We are now in green Norfair, except it's still purple because we skipped going through the trigger that makes it green, but like, honestly, good. Purple Norfair's way prettier, let's be real. So, some good movement here from Aurorax, taking advantage of moving through the lava where it's faster. In this game, in lava, you jump higher when you sink all the way down to the bottom. So you're going to be seeing our runners do that with lava. Aurorax bombing through the floor here, and then heading down this way to go get missiles 5 and 6. Ooh, that morph roll there was really, really cool. What's really fun about NES Metroid 100% is practically everyone has different strats for just like the room-to-room movement. That's missile 6 for Aurorax. So just paying attention to the ways everyone handles different little situations is always really, really interesting in running of this category. Aurorax, like I said earlier, is a very, very brave boy, and we'll go for some really scary-looking stuff. In any case, is going to head back up the way we came. 1, 2, 3, 4 rhythmic jumps. We'll get you up on top of a respawning block, no big deal. And now head over this way, up and around, to get Wave Beam. Gonna pull out a missile for that particular room. You'll see that room quite a few times in Norfair, and that's the strat most people use for it. Throwing in a missile. Just gonna bomb through the floor here, and just quickly dodge around that seahorse, and here's the Wave Beam room. Aurorax is doing good on missiles. 14 after missile 6 is, or after getting Wave Beam even. That's a pretty good number. These runners are going to want to be aware of their missile counts pretty much up until they reach Ridley's lair, really. As I said earlier, some nice movement from Aurorax there, dodging between those seahorse shots. Now we're going to head back up. Through here, we're gonna go to the right. Nice little jump there from Aurorax. Getting into that gap is actually quite difficult. Heading over this way to pick up what we lovingly refer to as the Lonely Missile. Aurorax using missiles there. I can't tell if that was a mistake or if it was intentional to reduce lag. Either way, quite quick with it, and like I said, he does have a lot of missiles, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was intentional. So Wave Beam in this game. Wave Beam is not an NES Metroid runner's friend. The hitbox of Wave Beam can be extremely finicky. It's also worth noting with these rooms full of blocks that in this game... That was almost really scary, but don't worry about it. That's Missile 7, the Lonely Missile for Aurorax. In this game, there can only be 10 destroyed blocks on screen at once. So if you destroy too many, you're not going to be able to destroy more, which can lock you down for a couple seconds while you're trying to progress. In any case, Aurorax has the Lonely Missile and is proceeding along his way. Hopefully that wasn't 10 blocks. Looks like he's good, though. If you look away from Aurorax for a second, if you're not mesmerized by his movement like I am, you'll see that Caesar and Dragondarch are fairly close together. Caesar, despite having the slowest PB, is really holding his ground against one of the strongest runners of this game there is. So something that's really important to note in NES Metroid, this is an extremely early NES game. This was 1983, I believe? And this was well before some of the advanced memory mapping chip capabilities were created for the NES, so this game lags hard. Chad is correcting me to 1986. Sorry, I'm a fake gamer girl. In any case, this game lags a lot. And lag management, sort of combined with missile management, forms this very interesting sort of, duo of you need to use missiles to kill stuff, but you can't use too many missiles or you'll run out and lose a ton of time all over the place. Aurorax is bomb jumping up through there. Oh, not quite. Oh, that's a rough time loss. Like I said about Aurorax before, he likes to go for some really cool strats. Alright, well, Aurorax gets up there, bleeds a few seconds, but it's certainly not the end of the world in this very long run. Now we're heading over towards the eastern side of Norfair. We're going to be picking up our next E-Tank coming up, finally. Yeah. But first, we're going to make a little detour here. Aurorax easily clipping through these bomb blocks. Doing those clips requires some seriously precise morph-unmorph jump inputs. And now Aurorax is going to be picking up the Screw Attack. For those of you who just watched the Metroid Fusion run, you'll remember the Screw Attack being a very, very pivotal item. Or at least that's what I remember, because I listened to the commentary. It was very informative and stuff. Screw Attack does not honestly work super duper well in this game, but it is nonetheless really important for NES Metroid runners to master. And it adds more lag. So, Aurorax has the Screw Attack now, and is now going to head, that's pretty much it for Norfair, actually, or at least for this half of Norfair. We're gonna come back to Norfair after doing Ridley's Lair, but for now, if I remember correctly, this route tends to blend together in my head if I don't do this run for more than, like, 2 days, honestly. We're gonna be heading over this way. No, we still have a couple other things. This is the Gumdrop Room. So named because, yeah. I don't know what these tiles are supposed to be. Some nice movement from Ororax here to those little morph-unmorphs. We're gonna see a tiny skip coming up in a second here. So Ororax is going to unmorph jump off of that platform to break that block early so you don't have to wait to bomb it. That's a really nice little bit of movement. And then a little bit more candy blocks, and we're heading over this way. We're gonna go down to pick up E-Tank 3, and so pretty much from this point on, health is not a concern. Speaking of health not being a concern, oh god, Dragondarch. Oh no. I'm gonna be keeping my eyes on Dragondarch for a bit here. I want to see how this plays out. Whew. A missile drop for Ororax there, that's really good. Missiles are tight in this segment of the run. That's E-Tank 3 for Ororax, so pretty much no more worries about death. Dragondarch stopping to pick up a health drop there. Holy moly, I am very scared for Dragondarch right now. Thankfully, I believe this is the screw attack. Screw attack will make things a little easier. Some nice movement from Ororax there. Missile shot to speed that up. Now, here comes a fun trick. Ororax is going to wrap to the top of the screen and jump through the ceiling, and hey, he's in the high jump chamber, doing a nice bomb unmorph jump there. That trick is tougher than it looks. You have to really precisely line up your bomb timing. And over here, and he's got high jump. High jump is going to be pretty useful. It's going to allow us to skip some things and do some quicker movement than we could do without it. And with that, Ororax is going to be proceeding down into Ridley's lair. We're going to kill Ridley and take all of his stuff and leave, basically. Warfare, in terms of route, is probably the hardest part of this run to really remember. It gets really samey, if I'm being honest. It gets really samey. It does not help that we skip the transition from purple to green Norfair, although admittedly, like I said, I love purple Norfair, so I'm glad we don't see green. Nice little high from Ororax. But Ridley's lair is a fair bit easier to remember and recognize where you're going. Meanwhile, Dragondarch still trucking on. Just 2 more rooms here that he needs to get through without taking a hit. Enemies in Norfair do 20 damage, so Dragondarch needs to be careful here. And while Dragondarch... Okay, I just want to see him get this E-Tank real quick. Thank God! Oh, I was so scared for Dragondarch. That was terrifying, and honestly, truly a testament to Dragondarch's incredible skill and consistency with this game. Meanwhile, Ororax has entered Ridley's lair. He's going up to the left to pick up missile number 8. Caesar just picking up E-Tank number 3 as well. Again, not far behind Dragondarch. I'm really, really impressed with how close Caesar is keeping. Let's see what Ororax does here. There's 2 strats. Looks like Ororax is going to do the bomb strat here. Bombing through this floor can be kind of tricky. Floors like this with 4 or more vertical tiles, if you're not careful about your jumping, you can get bounced out to the top and have to start over. This room is it's a fairly tricky one to set up. You want to set the movement of the multi-violas, the sphere-shaped enemies, in such a way as to reduce lag and get them all off screen. Ororax did an excellent job there. Practically no slowdown at all, or at least for Metroid standards. And roll over here. Nice bomb jump. 5 missiles, and we're through to E-Tank number 4. Ororax playing it a little bit safe there, doing an unmorph jump to grab that tank because there's a hole in the floor. I haven't explained unmorph jumps yet. So, in this game, when you unmorph, the game considers you on the ground. It does not check to confirm this fact until you press left or right on the D-pad. So you can roll off an edge and then unmorph, and you have freedom to jump up until you press left or right. We're going to use another unmorph jump here to go over this way to pick up missile number 9. Unmorph jumping is an essential NES Metroid technique. You're going to be seeing it everywhere. I think I've missed a few of them, honestly, and I apologize for not mentioning those earlier. That is missile number 9. And now Aurarax is going to be heading over to Ridley. Unmorph jumps are also going to be really, really useful against Mother Brain a fair bit later, but we'll get to that when we get to that. So this is the final room before Ridley, made a lot easier by Screw Attack, but also with good movement, as you're seeing from Aurarax, except for that little lava bath there. Nice missile shot there, though. That was smooth. So Aurarax is going to be getting the good Ridley pattern here. I'll explain the RNG after this fight, but real quick, he's going to Screw Attack through Ridley to do a little extra damage and get up onto this upper platform. He is going to just absolutely unload into Ridley every missile he's got, and then just fire shots. So in this game, I have a lot to explain here. Holy cow. I should have gotten a head start on that, but oh well, commentary difficult. So, let's start with RNG. In the NES, the English NES version of Metroid, the RNG seed is decided based on some values in RAM that your console has on startup. So, with that version of the game, and the RNG does not change until you die or up A. So what's really nice about the Deathless category of 100% is that you always know exactly what patterns you're going to get from bosses. There are some elements of patterns that can change within a seed. Again, those are based on the enemy manipulation techniques that I mentioned earlier. An enemy going left or right in one room can affect a different enemy 3 rooms later. But in the Deathless category, they know what boss pattern they're going to get. Now, since Dragondarch has died, we don't know what he's going to see from Ridley. The other thing I need to mention here, as Aurarax is heading through the ballroom in the wrong direction in my IMO, is shooting. So in this game, so long as the B button, the shoot button, is pressed, anytime the controller changes state, that is, anytime a button is pressed or released, a shot will be fired. As well, when you're holding down the shoot button, after like a half a second or something, you'll get a pretty fast auto-fire. So when fighting bosses in this game, you're gonna see players, well, you can't see their controllers, but more or less what they're gonna be doing is holding down B and mashing probably forward towards the boss as well as select. In the case of Ridley, you saw Aurarax mash forward and select, or you saw Aurarax mash select until he ran out of missiles, and then up and select because the wave beam hits Ridley from an up. You're gonna see that from Dragondarch here as well. And Aurarax is making his way through this very long corridor to get missile number 10. So chat has just caught me up on the fact that Caesar missed E-Tank 4. This isn't actually the end of the world. It is going to be a time loss, but Caesar can go back and grab it on his way out of Ridley's lair. This is not a you need to take a death and go all the way back up sort of scenario. It's not the end of the world. It is certainly a time loss for Caesar, though. Caesar employing a bit of a different Ridley strat here. Jumping is, again, a button press that allows you to get more shots off. This strat is more akin to what you might see in all bosses. Aurarax taking full advantage of the Screw Attack on this climb here. Going all the way up. We've done everything we can do in Ridley's lair. We killed Ridley, we took all his stuff, and now we're on our way out of here. Also worth noting, Dragondarch was lucky and got the good pattern from Ridley. Again, once you die, it's randomized, so we'll see what he gets for Kraid. That's not gonna be up for a little while, though. Aurarax heading out of Ridley's lair back into Norfair. Now we're basically going to go up to the upper right side of Norfair. We're going to be grabbing missiles 11, 12, and 13, 14 and 15, 16 and 17, as well as Ice Beam number 2. Didn't mention this, but you did see it. They grabbed E-Tank number 5 from behind Ridley's room. Worth noting, so there are 8 E-Tanks in this game, but you can only have up to 6 E-Tank slots. The other 2 E-Tanks after that are basically free health refills. But for the 100% category, you do have to collect all 8. So Aurorax on the long climb here, taking advantage of high jump in order to get some extra, in order to skip platforms where possible. He's going to be going all the way up to the top of this room. And then, once again, Aurorax is going to be block clipping his way up. These block clips are tough, as you can see. But with high jump, thankfully, he doesn't have to do quite as many of them. Now Aurorax is heading over to get missiles 11, 12, and 13. So meanwhile, Dragondarch is on his way out from getting missile 10, and Caesar is on his way in, so not a big gap, but again, Caesar doesn't unfortunately need to go back and get E-Tank number 3, which is not great. Actually, is this a different route than I'm used to? Or am I just misremembering because everything in this game looks the same? Yeah, it looks like Aurorax is taking a slightly different route than I'm used to. I'm not sure if this was a mistake or something that only the highest level players do. The bird boost there, the most important trick in the entire run. Since this run doesn't have Fake Crate, Bird Boost gets that slot. In any case, that was missiles 11 and 12 from Aurorax. We'll just have to keep count. Hopefully he doesn't miss anything. So regarding left and rights, with wraps, because I'm seeing the chat talk about that a little bit, especially with regards to keyboard. To unmorph in this game, you can press up or A. So if you're concerned about left-righting problems with up-down wraps, you can actually down A wrap, and I've found, I recently switched to down A wrapping, and it is significantly more consistent. Oof. Aurorax getting sub-pixeled. Aurorax getting sub-pixeled. Third tries the charm, though. Aurorax is now heading up to what I would normally call missiles 11, 12, and 13. Although, now these are going to be 13, 14, and 15. So I'm not sure if this was a mistake on Aurorax's part, or if this is some route that I'm just not cool enough to know about. In any case, Aurorax is going to be heading up through this little ceiling here, once again block clipping because he's Aurorax. So looks like Caesar has obtained E-Tank 3, and is heading back this away. Yeah, would-be E-Tank 3 is now E-Tank 5. And there's Missile 16 for Aurorax, and Missile 17 is right over here. And now Aurorax is going to bomb through this away and go down and get Ice Beam 2. Yeah, there are two Ice Beam slots in this game. The 100% rules for NES Metroid, per our speedrunning community at least, there might be some other community out there that has a different opinion on this, stipulates that you get both Ice Beams. However, it doesn't actually really matter, because in terms of routing, it is faster to go pick up this Ice Beam than not, because you need Ice Beam to get through Torian. That's more or less true, but for our purposes, oh god, yes it is. And there you go, that's Ice Beam number 2. And he's got Ice Beam again. Yes, Dragondarch and Aurorax have taken a slightly different route. I haven't been keeping track of Dragondarch's missile count, but he is fairly behind. So now, that's it for Norfair for Aurorax. He is going to head out back to Brinstar, grab E-Tank number 6 along the way, the Shy E-Tank hiding in the ceiling, and then head over to Kraid's Lair, which is intentionally designed to make you get lost. Aurorax taking full advantage of Ice Beam and Screw Attack here for lag reduction purposes. Let's see what strat we're going to see here from Dragondarch. So Dragondarch is going to do the safer strat that Aurorax did not get to do. The bomb jump that you saw Aurorax do there is actually really difficult, and I was kind of distracted rambling about routes that I didn't mention it. The ice strat there is way safer. Aurorax now back out in Norfair. This is the 3rd time we've been in this room in this run. I'm not sure if this is the only room with that. No. You also get some of the rooms... You get the room between the starting position and Kraid's Lair. We go through 3 times. So fun fact, the tunnel that you see Aurorax in right now, as well as there's similar tunnels in Norfair, and I think a few of them in Kraid's Lair, those tunnels are actually very special in that they change the color palette of the screen. There's nothing innately programmed about the blue climb to be blue. If you actually... So you saw our runners do Norfair Wrap earlier. Aurorax grabbing another E-Tank here. You saw our runners do Norfair Wrap earlier. If you do Norfair Wrap and then go back through the color change tunnel in Norfair, which you do on the 100% map completion route, which I've done, that category is amazing, you actually set the palettes backwards for the rest of the run, which is kind of incredible to see. It's really disorienting. However, that does not happen in 100% item. And so now Aurorax is heading into Kraid's Lair. First, he's going to be going to the left. We're going to go pick up missile number 18 first thing. Get boosted by the Scree there. That's a really, really cool strat. Taking advantage of unmorph jumping, Screw Attack and High Jump. That's missile number 18. I hope you like the room that Aurorax is in right now, because we're going to be seeing it a lot. Aurorax heading down. We're going to go through here. If Aurorax were to bomb through the floor on the left side of this room, he could go down and pay a visit to our boy Fake Kraid. He chooses not to do that, which is real sad. Gotta pay respects to our boy Fake Kraid, but that's something for another relay. There's missile number 19. Only 2 left for Aurorax. Meanwhile, Dragondarch just headed down Blue Climb. One really interesting thing to note with Blue Climb is they're actually doing a fairly long, extended enemy spawn manipulation in order to get that Scree that you just saw Dragondarch jump off of to spawn. If you don't plan your route very carefully, that Scree won't spawn, and that sucks. You have to, like, basically run around until it spawns. Meanwhile, Dragondarch just wrapped down to Kraid. This is a significantly easier wrap than Norfair Wrap, I would argue, but is certainly not trivial. And it's Kraid! You can basically just hold left and B, and kick Kraid's butt. Now Aurorax grabbing Kraid's special hidden E-Tank. Once again, we're just killing Kraid and taking all his stuff. That makes E-Tank number 7 for Aurorax. Only one left to pick up on the way out of Kraid's lair. And here comes one of the most infamous parts of this game for Metroid speedrunners. This is the Kraid climb. Kraid climb is mean, and it sucks, and it's significantly more difficult with high jump. But Aurorax, yeah. That can just happen. You can just get kicked out of the column for no apparent reason. There might be a reason, I'm not aware of it. And then we're gonna be heading over to the left here to pick up missile number 20. That's 20. If you keep going to the left, we'd get back towards Fake Kraid. These are important map milestones relative to Fake Kraid. Fake Kraid RTA is the only good NES Metroid category. Aurorax using a nice little unmorph jump there, and heading on up this way. Again, rolling, unmorphing, rolling, unmorphing. Oh, he tried to unmorph there, didn't quite get it though. Again, if you press right or left at all in the air, you won't be able to jump anymore. Dragondarch finishing his wrap down to Kraid. Nice and smooth. Meanwhile, Caesar is heading up Gold Climb. And you just saw Aurorax do a very nice little unmorph jump, skipping Jack the Ripper, who is poorly regarded, to say the least, by all bosses Deathless Kraid first runners. Aurorax now heading over to the right here to pick up E-Tank number 8, the final E-Tank. That's its official subtitle. Nice little bomb jump here, and did enemy manipulation earlier in Kraid's lair so that these slimy boys were out of the way. Unfortunately, Aurorax didn't get the unmorph jump that he wanted, so he does have to go back around. But a very nice morph ball bounce there to get into the higher gap. Single tile gaps in Metroid 1 can be picky, we'll say. Now, one more item grab in Kraid's lair, right up here. Aurorax not risking the sub-pixeling. And this, chat, I hope you've been keeping count. That's missile number 21. Dragondarch just getting up the majority of Kraid climb, heading towards missile number 20. Really pushing his pace against Aurorax. Unfortunately, it is gonna take some really consistent towards the end of the run. There's no more wraps, there's no more challenging... Well, there's no more major time losses, we'll say. There is still some challenging gameplay left. Aurorax heading out of Kraid's lair, again making full advantage of screw attack and high jump for some good vertical platforming. And for the section with the breakable blocks up here is going to be breaking things in a pretty specific way to try and maneuver quickly up and out. Dragondarch having no problem with the unmorph jump. And Caesar heading towards... I'm not sure which missile that is. Anyways, Aurorax is now heading up Blue Climb for the last time. Blue Climb, the last time. Again, official subtitles. Making full advantage of screw attack, making full advantage of high jump. A lot of the same tech you're seeing come back. Something to note with screw attack is that you need to be sort of careful with how you position yourself relative to enemies to screw attack them. If you screw attack too early in your jump, it won't work, because NES Metroid screw attack is a thing. It certainly exists. Aurorax now picking up the last item in the game, the most important item in the game. That's right, the best beam, the long beam, because it is a long beam. The long beam is kind of an inhibitance for Hundo runners, if I'm being perfectly honest. But dang it, it's the long beam, and we love the long beam. And then just a little bit more Blue Climb. Caesar picking up E-Tank number 7. And heading out of Kraid's Arena. Orax now heading over to the bridge to Turian. So, now it's time to talk Mother Brain. Mother Brain is a lot. Even in this category where Mother Brain is essentially free, it's a lot. So, Orax is going to need... Oh, he missed a statue. There you go. Orax is going to need 93 missiles from this point forward, so conveniently he's got quite a few extra. You need 20 to get through missile doors in Turian, 33 to get Mother Brain, and all of the remainder, I'm not good at math, to get through the Zebatites. Unfortunately, there are no Zebatite skips in this game. But the fun part of 100% Mother Brain is that you have 6 full E-Tanks, you've got Various Suit, you've got Screw Attack and Bombs, and you probably, just speaking based on the average Hundo run, have more missiles than you know what to do with. So you just get to kind of barrel through Mother Brain. One important thing to note, in Hundo Turian is that you need to be careful because you have the long beam. If you're mashing to try and freeze a Metroid and your shots miss, you can end up getting grabbed because the long beam shots stay on screen until they reach the edge. That being said, you have bombs, so you can get out, although it is pretty difficult. Luckily, though, it's not a death sentence like it is in some other categories. But yeah, in Hundo, you can just throw missiles into this door and ignore that Metroid. It's no big deal at all whatsoever. So, Mother Brain is... I tell any new NES Metroid runner to just spend hours upon hours practicing Mother Brain. It will improve your play so unbelievably much, but basically what you're going to be seeing here, Mother Brain, the patterns of the Rinkas and the cannons are random. Runners are going to be adapting on the fly. I believe there's something like 60 different patterns. So once you play this game enough, you start to recognize some commonalities. Taking full advantage of unmorph jumps here to get through these rooms as quickly as possible. Because this is 100%, you can safely just damage boost off of Rinkas and cannon shots, just like Orax did right there. Didn't quite land on the platform, though. Orax having somewhat of a rough go of it, but again, no big deal. This is Hundo. You can spam missiles. You can take as much damage as you darn well please. Final Zebatite here. Orax has plenty of missiles to get through Mother Brain, 1 to break the glass, 32 to win. Again, this is Hundo. Just go nuts. You can go stand up in front of the glass, unmorph jump over Dan's pit. This is Dan's pit that Orax is over right now. Our boy Follow the Dan dropped his wallet in here once. Unfortunately, no one's ever found it. What's nice in Hundo is that with high jump and bombs, you can get out of that pit freely. In other categories, that pit can be a death sentence. And that is a Mother Brain kill. Epilepsy warning. I forgot to say that earlier. My apologies. Watch out for that if you're epileptic. For the next 2 runners. Luckily, these screens are pretty small. And it's escape time. Time is going to be coming up for Orax in just a second. At the top of the escape... Climbing. Looking to hit like something like an 830 escape. 850 or better is possible with high jump, but requires a lot of really precise execution. And time for Orax is there. I have no idea what his time was because I can't see the timer, but congratulations to Team Plasma, winner of the relay. That was an absolutely excellent run from start to finish by Orax. In the meanwhile, though, Dragondarch is taking on Mother Brain. Let's show our support to Team Ice as Dragondarch takes on, literally and metaphorically, the final boss of this game. The final boss of this relay, Mother Brain herself. Dragondarch, again, using some different strats than you might see from Orax. Old school, new school. Dragondarch playing it a fair bit safer, but he is through. Mother Brain is done. Plenty of health to spare. Time for Dragondarch is coming up, and I have been told in Discord that Team Ice's finishing time was a 6:23:41, So congrats to Team Ice on the excellent finish. In the meanwhile, though, Dragondarch going for the task strats here in the escape. If you don't press left or right when you jump, you can do a standing jump instead of a spinning jump. It has different hitbox properties. And trying to do those long jumps to skip a platform has sub-pixels, but hey, whatever. Dragondarch is done. Team Plasma has made it happen. And extremely blah, 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 blah. Also, I totally mixed up the teams there. Don't mind that. Team Plasma won, Team Ice second place. Despite that early mistake in Varia Wrap, Dragondarch delivered an incredible performance in pretty much every other regard. He was really, really pushing against Aurarax's lead. And Caesar, the final Harrier of Team Wave, is entering Turian as we speak. Team Ice finishing with a 6:24.53. That is just over a minute's difference in a 6.5-hour relay, which frankly is incredible. But let's focus now on Team Wave, on our boy, the Kevin KLMSZR, Caesar, the champion, that guy who was one place above me on the All Bosses leaderboard for a really, really long time. My boy, my pal, my rival, Caesar. Caesar rolling down through this sort of wiggly room, though. Taking advantage of the morph ball to move quickly. And get you can get around these sort of sticking out platform thingamajiggities faster in morph because you know, because hitbox physics. I don't words. So Caesar's got 97 missiles, which maybe not quite as many as you'd want, but again is more than enough. The lower limit is 73. And in Hundo, since you can just throw missiles around, you don't need to worry about taking damage. You can just keep spamming away at Zebatites. Caesar should be more than good. Getting a pretty solid pattern here, actually. This is the kind of pattern that you want to see. Deftly rolling under there, taking advantage of a damage boost. And through Zebatite number 2, having a little trouble getting that kill in. The Zebatites can regenerate up to 7 health if you stop paying attention to them in this game. That's probably true in the other games as well. But in any case, that shouldn't be a worry in Hundo. Having a little mistake in an unmorph jump there, no big deal. Nailing the rest of them just fine. Some coyote time physics there. If you get pushed off a ledge, you can also do a midair jump, which is pretty neat. Last Zebatite, still plenty of missiles. Come on, Caesar. Unfortunately, Caesar's audio is not working, so we just have this dramatic silence. Caesar taking a bit of time here to freeze some Rinkas, a very smart decision, which, despite how slow it may seem, it's going to save you time in the long run, in the long beam, as it were. Now Caesar's in the position of power. This is where you want to be when you're fighting Mother Brain. Just throwing missile after missile right into that tank. Something to note with Mother Brain is that only the upper half of the hitbox actually takes damage. So if you move over to right in front of Mother Brain, you have to be careful. Caesar accidentally double tapping there, and killing that Rinka, which is no good. That's not what you want. Caesar being bold, facing Mother Brain directly, using top tank strats. Oh, this boy, and that is a Mother Brain down. Let's go, Caesar. Taking stop off in Dan's pit, the legend. Oh, baby. And here comes the escape, the final countdown for Team Wave. I'm only a little bit excited. I love Caesar. He's my boy. He's my pal. I am so proud of him for trucking this race out. Again, employing even more different escape strats than you saw from Dragondarch and Aurarax. Time is coming up in just a second here. Hope you're ready to give it up for our boy Caesar and Team Wave. One more, done. That is time on the 2019, the March 2019, I guess. I'm not sure how frequent these thingamajiggities are. That is time for Team Wave, time for all 3 teams. What an incredible relay. Team Wave finishing with a 6:28.58. An absolutely incredible performance from Caesar, going up against people with minutes over him on the leaderboards and never faltering, going back, clearing up the one mistake he did make, no problem, no difficulties. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely congratulations to all three of these teams. A 6.5-hour relay, finishing within, what, 7 minutes? 5 minutes? Amazing. Truly a testament to the skill and consistency of Metroid speedrunners throughout the community. And with that, I would assume Wailarinth is going to come on in here and say some cool stuff. Shoutouts to Wailarinth, though. Not only did Wailarinth put this whole thing together, he coordinated the making of the layouts, he picked out the runners. When runner after runner had to drop from the relay, myself being one of those runners, sorry, Wailarinth. Wailarinth was there to pick up the pieces, find new runners, and keep the relay together. This would not have happened without him in both the literal and metaphorical sense. Well done, Team Ice, Team Plasma, Team Wave, and thank you so much, Wailarinth. I guess I'm just hanging out here until some other cool stuff happens.
All right, and with that, we'll bring in our final crew of speedrunners, the Metroid 1 folks.
All right, see you guys.
See you, everyone.
See you next mission.
Hello, folks.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you both doing?
I'm doing good. A little disappointed, but
Doing all right, I guess.
how are you doing?
I'm doing really well. A little, I guess, not physically tired, but a little tired in the mental department.
Yeah, I bet.
All right, let's start with Dragondarch. How do you feel about your run?
Outside of the soft lock, I felt like that was a pretty good run. If that hadn't happened, I calculated it to being about a 45-minute pace. So I can't be mad about that.
Yeah, you certainly. I think you would have won too.
And just want to go on. Want to put it out there that I've never had to do North Air on low health before, so that whole section was completely improvised.
That was improvised?
I usually don't go in there with only with health that's beeping, so
you were
I had
low
to
for
make up on the fly.
You were low for 5 minutes. I was freaking out.
You were freaking out. I was just a little bit.
You made it look easy.
No, that's not easy. No.
Either way, I think everyone was universally impressed with your performance in North. It was a sight for sore eyes.
That was the screen wrap I was the most worried about too. I should have just gone for I should have just skipped it and did Varia jump. It would have been a better choice, but you win some, you lose some.
All right, Caesar, and what about you?
Oh, I just wanted to say, first of all, good game to Dragondarch and Aurorax on this run, and good game to all the racers today. As far as my run, though, it was 2 minutes past my PB, so I wasn't very impressed with myself.
Missing.
You probably saw that I missed that E-tank jump, and I fell. And I was just cursing myself the whole time. I was like, oh my god, that never happens. So, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, I was like 15 seconds ahead of my PB pace. So if
I think a lot of the runners today put up some really, really, really good runs, but had just one or two places where they had huge, massive time saves that ended up costing them what might have been PB.
Yeah, exactly. So part
That's-
of me feels like, let the team down and let myself down, so it kind of sucks, but I also realize that those things happen, so, because the people that see our PBs on speedrun.com, they see our best run. They don't see all the stuff in between and a lot of these live races, so you're not always going to be the best, I guess, but you can try to be.
You know what? Part of speedrunning is being able to push through your mistakes, and that's one thing that I can say I cannot do. I am infamous for not accepting any small, minor, or mistakes of any size. But congratulations to both of you for pulling through after you had some game-changing mistakes.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch it on video on demand.
Yeah, I think parts of this I'm going to want to watch back myself. I certainly didn't keep as close an eye on chat as I would have liked. Chat certainly had a few interesting things to say. Anyways, are there any last things from you folks?
I don't believe so.
Nah. That's
All right.
That's pretty much all I got.
I think let me do one last check to see if there are any more folks who we skipped over earlier that have come back for.
Thanks for putting this all together, Weller.
Absolutely.
You did a great job.
And special thanks to you, Caesar, who joined after I asked you last night.
It's a good thing that I run a lot of categories.
Yeah, there was a less than 24-hour preparation. You probably had what, 16? No, I guess you had a little longer because your category was last.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't busy today, so it worked out.
Yeah, that was really, really lucky for me. Well, the other outcome would have been we would have had to rotate Scotty into this category, and we would have needed to find another zero mission run.
Just next time we'll have an all Scotty team.
Actually, that was going to be my next event. It was going to be Scotty versus the world. I was going to find the best non-Scotty runner in each of the Hundo categories and pit them against one man.
I'm sure he would still win.
I don't know who would win, but I'm sure it would be a race for the century, or for the record books. Team Scotty versus Team the World.